Hello, my friends. It's time for another Rollin' Rambles quickie. This is about Windows on ARM. Don't buy Windows on ARM laptops, including those stupid Copilot Plus PCs. Here's the thing. You might think even if you're a Linux guy, oh, I'll just put Linux on it. But guess what? It's not even that simple. See, I bought a Thomson Neo Z3. It is a Windows on ARM laptop. It has a Qualcomm something or another. Snapdragon 850, I think it is. But it's an ARM laptop, and it'll boot. Windows won't boot. The ISO won't boot. The built-in Windows is messed up. And Linux will boot and then not have USB or keyboard or mouse. You can't do anything. So it doesn't matter what I do. The thing is unusable unless I can find these fancy pants proprietary drivers that go to it. Because it turns out Windows on ARM requires ACPI, which is how x86 PCs configure themselves. And it's how operating systems are told by the system, here's all the devices and stuff that we have and support. You would think that that would mean Windows on ARM, you could just boot a standard Windows ISO and ACPI will tell it everything. But no, that's not how it works at all. It turns out, if you have a Windows on ARM machine, ACPI does exist and does give some extremely basic configuration stuff, but the vast majority of configuration stuff isn't there. Guess where it is? Well, let me tell you a little side story. Linux and other operating systems that are for embedded devices, there's this thing called a device tree. It's basically just a list of the devices in a system and how they're laid out and configured and connected. For example, if you have a chip and it has, 12 general purpose I/O pins. Those can be used to communicate with peripherals. But how do you know which peripheral's hooked to which pin? How do you know if a peripheral is hooked to a pin? How do you know that X pin goes to the Wi-Fi and Y pin goes to the Bluetooth or GPS or whatever? How do you know what pin goes where? That's where the device tree comes in. That's how all the stuff is known. Well, guess what? Windows on ARM, though it requires ACPI, it turns out that ACPI is bull because the drivers themselves have the device tree style stuff stuck in them. So you have to manually inject drivers into the boot Windows image for the installer for Windows on ARM to match your platform, or it doesn't work. Screw this. It's the same problem, just in a different way. So Linux doesn't work, Windows doesn't work. If something bad happens to the contents of your eMMC, UFS, SSD, whatever, you're screwed. So Windows on ARM laptops are a no-go. They're a non-starter. They'll work until they don't, and once they don't, they become garbage. You're basically asking for all the worst of a Mac, because yes, Macs have gone to ARM, but Apple has the benefit of being able to put very tight control on what is manufactured and how. Apple can standardize their stuff, but you can't standardize a bunch of different Qualcomm Snapdragon PCs made by a bunch of different manufacturers for Windows on ARM. And that's ultimately the problem, is that we agreed a long time ago, and by that I mean like in the 90s, like in the mid-90s, we came up with ACPI to replace a variety of legacy configuration systems such as MPS and APM, a bunch of stuff dating back to like 486s. We ultimately decided ACPI was the way to go. And ACPI revisions have been the core of PC configuration for an extremely long time. It's why you can basically install any OS on a PC, and it kind of sort of just works, assuming all the drivers are there and they know what to do and how to do it. It's the main reason that an Intel style, an i3-86 or whatever PC, those work because of ACPI. Now, ARM having ACPI sounds like it should also have solved the problem. Unfortunately, what they did is shift the problem into the driver space, which makes it opaque. You don't even know that that's the problem. You don't even know that there's these secret hard configurations that are sort of stuck into the thing. You have no idea because it's not made clear, like through a device tree style thing. It's not stuck in a CPI. You only find out because if you try to go into the system, it blue screens, which is just not great. I'm trying not to hit this guy on his bicycle, but yeah. That's the quickie for Windows on ARM. It's garbage. You really just don't want to deal with it, I promise. All right, don't buy a Windows on ARM PC. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go buy some chickens. Take it easy.